on the schedule. It's the ones who are frequently there. It's the ones who show up when it's their turn because they're reliable. And the volunteer who comes maybe once every 6 weeks, they're not going to have that same gel with the children. Consequently, when the child has an issue to talk about, they're probably not going to talk about it with that volunteer. It's the same in the home. Listen to this. You can score touchdowns on every other point I've been talking about this morning and still lose the game if you fail to convert when it comes to keeping your commitments, keeping your word. It may hurt to hear this, but your kids honestly do not understand when you fail to do what you promised to do. Your son or daughter might act like it's no big deal. They might act like they don't care if you break a commitment. When you say you're going to help them with that project that they're working on in school and then cancel last minute, they might pretend it's no big deal, but don't kid yourself. Your son or daughter looked forward to your help. They wondered when you would show up. And at some point, they resigned themselves to the disappointing fact that you didn't. And no excuse will erase that experience for them. So let's keep our commitments. Let's only promise on the things that we're going to come through on. On the positive side of the coin, your kids will thrill when you demonstrate reliability. In addition, this is really important, your example of keeping commitments will help them to develop that same approach to life as well. And it'll serve them when it comes to school and jobs and relationships. If you're a commitment keeper, your kids will have a great model so they can grow up to be kids that keep their commitments. As I was reading in preparation for this talk, I discovered something about aviation, and that's this, that a 1 degree change in flight toward the end of a flight can mean the difference of landing straight in the middle of the runway or, as in the picture, landing next to it in a field. A 1 degree difference late in the flight can make that difference. However, a 1 degree difference in flight path at the start of a flight can mean not only missing the runway, but missing your entire destination completely. I think that much of navigating the challenges of parenting seems to involve relatively small course adjustments through the course of the week or the course of the year. Nevertheless, however slight, certain changes can significantly impact the direction that our kids will travel through life. And just like a pilot's coordinates, parents' words can make the greatest impact the earlier that they're used. Small messages, repeated over time, result in huge life transformation. Well, this morning we discovered 2 such messages. I believe in you, and you can count on me. I believe in you, and you can count on me. Next week we're going to look at 2 more, so I would encourage you to come back for that talk as well. But before we do, I just felt a burden to offer a couple of words of encouragement. And these are directed to those of you who are parents who have kids still living under your roof. We really do want to be the best parents that we can be, don't we? We want to be the best parents that we can be. And that's why when we hear a message like this, our chest contracts and we walk out of here like on 5 alarm, like And it can feel like we're walking into a minefield, like one wrong step, or in this case, one wrong word is going to mess up our kids for the rest of their life. I know this feeling. I've got 2 children of my own who are still living under my roof. So my first word of encouragement to you is this. Extend yourself some grace. Extend yourself some grace. Kids aren't airplanes, all right? Every analogy breaks down at some point. That's where this analogy breaks down. A pilot turns the wheel, the plane instantly responds. It's not like that all the time with your kids. Especially if your kids are older, it may take time to see results that you're hoping for. So extend yourself some grace by being patient and by refusing to get discouraged. Refuse to allow yourself to get discouraged. Extend yourself some grace the way that God extends you grace. Parents, you can know that because of what Jesus did for you on the cross, that when you mess up, you can go to Him ask for forgiveness, and He will forgive you not once, not twice, but every time that you ask from the heart. Since your God is so willing to extend you grace, I think you and I ought to respond by extending ourselves a little as well. And then second word of encouragement. Picture one day, maybe a month from now, maybe a year from now, maybe several years from now, when your kids realize the difference that your words have made in their life. That's going to be a beautiful day. And when that day comes, you will know that all the hard work, all the determination to incorporate this message and these words into your interactions with your children or the kids that you come into contact with will be more than worth it. And your journey toward that day begins today when you walk out those doors. I'm going to hand it over to the band, and they're going to lead us in a closing song of worship. We'll see you next week.